Greetings, loved ones. Today, we're going to talk about the truth about abusers, abuse, and what to do. How can you spot an abusive partner before it is too late? This is part one of a two-part series. To help get these messages out, please subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, hit that like button, and please share these messages with others because you never know, just by doing so, you could save a life. I discovered another great article in Psychology Today about gender abuse by Darlene Lancer. She says that more than 3 million incidents of domestic violence are reported each year, including both men and women. Nearly 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner in the United States. So during 1 year, this equates to more than 10 million people. 1/3 of women and 1/4 of men will have experienced some sort of interpersonal violence, and 1/4 of women and 1/7 of men, it's severe. What is less talked about, though serious, is emotional abuse that ranges from withholding to controlling and includes manipulation and verbal abuse. The number of people affected is astronomical. Emotional abuse is insidious and slowly eats away at your confidence and self-esteem. The effects are long-term and can take even longer to recover from than physical violence. So let's talk about a few facts about abuse first. Victims often minimize violence. Violence includes throwing or breaking things, slapping, shoving, hair pulling, and forced sex. And here are some facts that you should know. Usually, abuse takes place behind closed doors. Abusers usually deny their actions and they blame the victim. Physical violence is always preceded by verbal, psychological, and/or economic abuse. Abuse damages your self-esteem, and the abuser needs to be right and he needs to be in control. The abuser is usually possessive and may try to isolate their partner from friends and family. The abuser is hypersensitive and may react with rage. A gun in the house increases the risk of homicide by 500%. And 2/3 of domestic violence perpetrators had been drinking alcohol when they became violent. 1/3 of the victims have been drinking or using drugs. So what is the typical abuser? You may not realize that abusers feel powerless. They do not act insecure to cover up the truth. In fact, they're often bullies. The one thing they all have in common is that their motive is to have power over their victim. This is because they do not feel that they have personal power regardless of worldly success. To them, communication is a win-lose game. They often have the following personality profile. So this is the personality profile of an abuser. They are insecure. They are needy with unrealistic expectations of a relationship. They are distrustful, and they're often jealous. They are verbally abusive. They always need to be right, and they always need to be in control. They're possessive, and they may try to isolate their partner from friends and family. They're hypersensitive, and they react aggressively. Abusers usually have a history of aggression, and they are cruel to animals and/or children. They always blame their behavior on others, and many suffer from untreated mental health problems, including depression or suicidal behaviors. And usually victims respond in the same manner. Most victims of abuse respond in a rational way. They explain themselves and they believe that the abuser is interested in what they have to say. This lets the abusers know that they have won and that they have control. Most victims placate and appease an abuser to de-escalate the tension and the risk of harm. It rarely works, and the abuse typically continues. The only solution is to leave the relationship. So let's talk about the truth about violence. If you have experienced violence, and that includes shoving, hair pulling, or destroying property, it is essential that you get support. Abusers deny or minimize the problem, as do the victims, and may claim that they cannot control themselves. This is untrue. Notice that they're not abusive with their boss. They're not abusive with their friends, because there would be consequences to that behavior. They also blame their actions on you, implying that you need to change. But I want you to know that you are never responsible for someone else's behavior. So you may recognize the cycle of violence, built up of tension, the attack, remorse and apology, and then a honeymoon period of loving gestures. Sometimes the threat of violence is all the abuser needs to control you, like a terrorist. And the best time to escape violence is in the build-up stage. Some victims will even provoke an attack to get it over with because their anxiety and fear is so great. They know what's coming and they might as well get it over with. After an attack, the abusers say how sorry they are and they promise never to repeat it. Do not believe their promises. With 1 in 3 women experiencing domestic violence worldwide, the question is not if you will encounter a victim of violence. The question is, what will you do when you do encounter them? You could be the person who saves a life. You are called. We are all called to be justice champions. Those who suffer violence need to know that those who love them and those who don't even know them will step out and reach out to them to give them the help and the courage they need to leave before it's too late. So help us get these messages out. Please subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, hit that like button, and please share these messages with others because you never know. Just by doing so, you could save a life. This series is dedicated in honor of Gabby Petito. So please check out the foundation her family created in honor of her at GabbyPetitoFoundation.org. If you are a victim of violence, listen to me now. I want you to know this. You are valued, you are loved, you're intelligent, and you are beautiful. God does not want you to suffer violence. He wants you to live free from violence in peace and tranquility. There is a way out, so reach out to somebody. It's not your fault. Abuse is not love. If you are a victim of violence or find yourself in a dangerous situation, call 911 for help. Tomorrow, we will continue to discuss the truth about abusers, abuse, and what to do. Until then, God bless you.